China's mask park scandal and the crisis of digital sexual violence. The mask park scandal, which broke through Chinese and international media on July 29, 2025, following a Reuters and Southern Daily exposé, is a chilling reminder that the digital age has not only revolutionized communication and connectivity but also amplified new forms of sexual violence. It represents a deeply troubling confluence of misogyny, technological misuse, legal impotence and global complicity. What happened in the encrypted depths of Telegram is not just a criminal act. It is a reflection of a systemic, global crisis in protecting women's dignity, privacy, and bodily autonomy. At the core of this story lies the involuntary exposure and exploitation of Chinese women, in bathrooms, bedrooms, public spaces, recorded with hidden pinhole cameras or captured in moments of intimacy, then shared for pleasure among strangers in vast Telegram groups numbering in the hundreds of thousands. This wasn't just a handful of users engaging in deviant behavior. It was a large-scale operation of distributed voyeurism and virtual sexual assault, made possible by digital tools and social silence. A violation of the most basic human rights. To understand the magnitude of this incident, one must recognize that non-consensual image sharing is not just a privacy issue, it is sexual violence. The victims in this case were not public figures or influencers sharing content online. They were ordinary women, sisters, partners, daughters, secretly recorded in moments where they had an expectation of safety and privacy. The violation was intimate and intentional. It is particularly harrowing to read the account of the unnamed victim whose ex-boyfriend recorded sexual encounters without her knowledge, then posted those videos along with her social media information to one of these forums. Her trauma is compounded not only by the betrayal of trust but by the knowledge that her image was consumed by thousands, maybe tens of thousands of anonymous viewers. A virtual assault with no clear perpetrator to hold accountable. This digital abuse is gendered violence, targeted at women and deeply rooted in a culture that has long commodified female bodies. It's no surprise that the majority of victims were women, as confirmed by media reports and reactions. Such acts serve not only to degrade and humiliate individual women but also to reinforce structural misogyny, conditioning society to view women as objects for male entertainment and control. Telegram. Enabler or ignorant bystander. The choice of Telegram as a platform is no coincidence. Known for its encrypted communication and limited moderation of private or semi-private groups, Telegram has increasingly become a hub for illicit activities, from political extremism to child exploitation. While Telegram has responded to the scandal by reiterating that it bans non-consensual pornography and moderates public spaces, its reactive approach is clearly not enough. The platform's self-destructing messages, screenshot blockers, and anonymous user features are designed for privacy and free speech. But in the wrong hands, these features create a haven for predators. It is this technological impunity that has enabled groups like Mask Park to grow, thrive, and even monetize exploitation through the sale of secret footage and camera equipment disguised as incense holders and everyday objects. Telegram's assertion that it removes content when discovered is cold comfort to victims whose images may have already been saved or shared in private. Moderating millions of pieces of content per day sounds impressive, but if enforcement comes only after exposure or whistleblowing, the system has already failed. The Chinese context. Censorship meets gendered impunity. The incident has exploded across Chinese social media platforms like Weibo, where hashtags related to Mask Park generated over 270 million views in just a few days. Outrage is widespread, and comparisons to South Korea's Nth Room scandal have highlighted how normalized, everyday misogyny can erupt into mass abuse when technology and silence intersect. Yet there is also a deeper irony at play. China has one of the world's most heavily censored and controlled digital environments. Obscene content is routinely scrubbed from the internet, and VPNs are technically illegal for the average citizen. Despite these restrictions, The scale of Mask Park's operation shows that gendered abuse can flourish even under digital authoritarianism, as long as women remain structurally unprotected. The reality is that China's legal framework has not kept pace with the evolution of online sexual violence. As lawyer Huang Ximin notes, the punishment for secret filming, if not deemed obscene, is often only a 500 yuan fine and up to 10 days in detention. For victims whose reputations, careers, and personal safety may be permanently damaged, such punishment is not only inadequate, it is insulting. Furthermore, the law currently lacks specific provisions around intimate image abuse, making it incredibly difficult to prosecute cases where the images themselves may not be pornographic in the legal sense, but are clearly sexually exploitative and harmful. This absence of legal recognition contributes to the very powerlessness that so many women feel when they are victimized online. Powerlessness and psychological impact. Beyond legal and technological gaps, the article underscores the deep emotional and psychological impact on victims. The feeling of helplessness, of being seen, consumed, and discussed without consent, can be as devastating as the act itself. Chinese society, like many others, has traditionally emphasized female modesty and reputation. In such a cultural context, being exposed sexually, even involuntarily, can result in lifelong stigma, isolation, or shame. This is not just about broken laws. This is about broken lives. The psychological trauma for women whose images were secretly filmed and distributed is immense. It is compounded by the lack of control, the difficulty of tracking down or removing content, and the fear that one's most vulnerable moments could resurface at any time. South Korea's Nth Room versus China's Mask Park. A haunting parallel. The Mask Park scandal is rightly being compared to South Korea's Nth Room case, which sparked mass protests, legal reform, and the eventual conviction of its ringleader. But as several Weibo users pointed out, Mask Park may be even more insidious because it is decentralized, casual, and normalized. There is no central villain, only thousands of users sharing and enjoying sexual abuse as entertainment. This diffusion of evil makes accountability even harder. It reveals a culture of complicity in which many individuals feel little to no guilt about their role in abuse if they are not the ones behind the camera. It is this normal